it threw a monkey wrench on their script. Na wala totally. For me ha, kung ako, tanungin nyo, walang credibility yung Quad Committee. Tulad ng sinabi ko, unang-una, saan ba galing yung Quad Committee? Kay Martin Romualdez. Sino bang kapartner ni Martin Romualdez? Si Lisa Marcos. Ito yung mga, sabihin na natin evil. Mamaya, balikan ko yung evil. Kung gaano ka-evil. Yung comment kanina. Oh. So, kilala ko to. So, I know na wala tong credibility. And the testimony of Colonel Grijaldo simply confirmed what I have already believed a long time ago, right from the start.
Kung bago ka lang dito sa NTPH, maaari bang makahingi ng isang like at subscribe? At huwag kalimutan pindutin ang notification bell para ma-notify kapag may ganito tayong upload. Salamat kabayan!
Balik tayo, Attorney Glenn, dito sa, you said earlier na you have no reason to doubt Colonel Grijaldo. Kasi, wala siyang mapapala eh. Diba?
Wait.
Wala siyang mapapala eh.
No. Look. Ate Joey, mga kababayan. He is a colonel. He is a career officer. If he accepted the proposition of the devils, he could have become a general. Or he could become a general. Diba? Yun ang offer ni Bishop Benny Abante. Bishop ang nag-offer, ha? So, he could become a general. For him to speak totally opposite, para lang tinapos na niyo yung career niya. Wala na siyang, he still has 1 more year, di ba? We still has 1 more year na tira
4 years pa.
in the service.
4 years pa.
4 years pa. O malayo.
Yes,
I stand corrected.
Oo.
4 years pa. So imagine, kaya nga nag-offer si Bishop Abante na pwede ka pa maging general. Kasi pwede nga. But by saying the opposite of what they want him to say, he's actually, ginurgur niya yung chances niya to become a general.
Correct.
Ginurgur niya yung chances niya to become a general. That is a hallmark of truth, mga kababayan.
Correct.
Oh, when you are willing to take the repercussion, kung handa mong saluin yung galit ni Lisa Marcos na hindi ka sumunod sa gusto niya, then you must really be telling the truth. Kaya nga ako, sabi ko, kumbinsido ako dyan sa sinabi ni Colonel Grijaldo. He put an end actually to any advancement of his career. Hindi na siya pwede maging general. Kasi hindi naman siya i-appoint as general ni Lisa Marcos eh. Kasi binukelya na nga niya eh. So that's a hallmark of the guy telling the truth.
And I would like to emphasize that, no? Kasi itong administration na to, you still have 4 years left. So for Colonel Grijaldo to face this risk and basically, you know, effectively parang in-end up niya yung career niya diyan eh. Sabi nga niya dun sa kanyang affidavit, sir, saan ka, parang tinanong siya kung saan siya pupunta after this, ganoon. Well, after this, sir, uuwi na lang ako, magtatanim na lang ako kamote. Alam niya,
sweet potatoes. Natandaan ko yun. Sweet potatoes daw itatanim niya. Oo. You see? And in other words, simple lang yung aspirations niya sa buhay. And is willing to take the risk na re-risbakan siya, of which that is very certain sa kamay ni Lisa Marcos.
Ayan. Attorney Glenn, this is one of the inconsistencies na lumabas dun sa mga interviews ni Benny Abante at saka ni Dan Fernandez, kasi sa mga interviews ang sinasabi nila na hindi naman daw tinanong si Colonel Grijaldo kasi hindi naman daw siya importante, so hindi naman siya nausisa daw talaga dun sa hearing. In fact, maka-move on naman daw sila dun sa kanilang hearing kahit wala dun si Grijaldo, hindi nga raw nila alam kung bakit siya nandoon, ganon. So dinidismiss nila si Colonel Grijaldo as someone who's not really important, ganyan. And then parang pinapalabas nga na kung ano raw yung sinabi ni Colonel Grijaldo ay parang bakit bigla na lang daw na iba yung sinasabi niya doon sa Senate. Now,
Sa Senate,
I also
oo.
I also heard about this, ang claim kasi nila na naglabas daw ng statement si Colonel Grijaldo na iba naman daw yung sinasabi. I think this is something that Colonel Grijaldo has to confirm kung meron ba siyang sinubmit na affidavit sa Quad Committee na contrary doon sa sinabi niya sa Senate. Kasi I don't think totally totally contradictory yun doon sa claim ni Colonel Grijaldo sa Senate kasi ang ano nga niya is ayaw kong i-corroborate yung kwento ni Colonel Garma. So ano yung sinasabi nito nila Benny Abante at na nag-issue siya ng affidavit sa Quadcom na kung saan nire-reverse niya yung sarili niya. But that's a matter of facts and I think it is something that Colonel
we have to, well, I think si Colonel Grijaldo has to come out and clarify this. On the other hand, kung meron din sila Dan at si Benny, they produce it. So that's part of healthy discussion. Pero ako, I put my trust, naniniwala talaga ako kay Colonel Grijaldo. Because of that, yung rest back sa kanya that he's willing to take. Imagine 4 years pa siya dyan na hindi siya ma-promote because nilabag niya yung kagustuhan ng reyna ng mga drug pushers sa Malacanang.
Attorney Glenn, yung naging statement ni ano sa tingin mo yung naging impact ng statement ni Colonel Grijaldo sa buong Quad Committee? After nung sinabi niya na ganito, so what do you think is the impact of this dun sa entire Quad Committee?
Sabi na ni Ate Claire, yung impact dyan, i-quote ko na lang si Ate Claire, umatras si Abante, nakubaran si Dan Fernandez. Yung sabi niya, hinubaran si Dan Fernandez, umatras si Benny Abante. You know, it throws a very serious question, doubt on the motives, the intentions of the Quad Committee, its chairman and its members. Kung ito lang, I'm sure may CCTV dyan sa House of Representatives, both in the committee room and outside o kung saan sila ng meeting. Makikita mo kung lumabas si Colonel Grijaldo, pumasok in another room. Diba? In the middle of the hearing. So, makikita niyo, you produce that. May CCTV yan. Makikita niyo lumabas, pumasok sa another silid. Precisely for what? Bakit siya lumabas in the middle of the hearing? Pumunta siya doon. It actually corroborates his own statement na nagkaroon sila ng private meeting in the middle of the hearing. And
actually, Attorney Glenn, sorry to interrupt.
Sige, go ahead.
I think si Colonel Grijaldo, witty rin siya kasi doon sa kanyang affidavit, sabi niya, in the middle of the quad hearing, nilapitan ako ng security tapos pinalabas ako ng room kasi pinapasamon daw ako ni Dan Fernandez. So lumabas daw siya, and then very detailed yung kanyang sinabi. Pinapunta dun sa kabilang room, ganyan. Tapos pagpasok ko ng room, meron akong nakitang 2 pulis. Pinangalanan niya yung 2 pulis na yun, isang major at saka isang captain, police captain. Nung nakita nila ako, sabi niya gano'n, nung nakita nila ako, in-acknowledge nila ako at sinaluduhan, sabi gano'n ni
kasi colonel siya
Kasi colonel siya gano'n. So, I think at that point, somehow nag-send yun ng message kay Dan Fernandez na hindi mo ako po pwedeng bullshitin, na hindi mo aaminin na kinausap mo ko dahil merong 2 pulis doon sa harap na nakita ko na
ibang tao.
Yes, ganon.
Pero apart from that, independent of people, na pwede mo namang sabihin na pwede mong sabihin na, kinutsaba mo yan, kinausap mo yan, magkabaro kayo The CCTV camera or the footage will show and independently corroborate na In the middle of the hearing, may time naman yan, may time yung footage ha. O in the middle of the hearing, lumabas ka, pumunta ka sa kabilang, you see, mga kababayan, hindi ko binasa yung affidavit ha. Unang-una kanina pa lang, sinabi ko na, hindi ko nabasa yung affidavit ni Colonel Grijaldo. But as we go on with this conversation, may mga sinasabi ako na nagja-jive doon sa kanyang sinasabi. Di ba? Because that's exactly what happens. Oh, so, and there's another one, Ate Joey, mga kababayan, that I would like to point out. Kapag yung affidavit full of details, that's another hallmark of the person telling the truth. Na pumasok siya, kinuha siya ng isang security, pumasok siya sa kabilang room, pagpasok niya, may isang colonel, may isang major, may isang captain, sumaludo sa kanya. These are indications of truthfulness sa kanyang statement.
Pati yung pwesto nila
Like
sa upuan kasi sinabi ni talagang dinescribe ni Colonel Grijaldo there were just
tingnan nyo, mga kababayan ha, yung affidavit ko against Lisa Marcos, 15 pages yun ha, 15 pages yun, puno yun ng detalye. Sabi ko, pumasok yung secretary ni Lisa Marcos, Attorney Glenn, ikaw na. So lumabas ako, sumunod si Ivan, sumunod si Hubert. Pagpasok naman, nauna si Ivan, sumunod si Hubert, doon siya sa far end, sa center, ako naman sa other end. Si Lisa na sa harap. Yung mga detalye na gano'n, these are indications na totoo yung sinabi ng tao kasi may detalye. Pag walang detalye, gawa-gawa lang yan.
Tama, ayun. Attorney Glenn, itong mga sinabi ni Colonel Grijaldo, of course, hindi, tingin mo ba, ilang beses nangyari ito? Yung ginawa nila kay Colonel Grijaldo, do you think it is also done in the same manner na, kasi si Colonel Grijaldo, sabi nila hindi importante. Biruin mo hindi importante pero kinausap nila ng ganon. So do you think ginawa rin nila yung ginawa nila kay Colonel Grijaldo sa ibang mga resource speakers and ano?
Ate Joey, mga kababayan, if it happened once, it could have happened twice, 3 times, 4 times, God knows how many times. Kasi nakita mo na ginawa nila to eh. Kung wala talagang ginawa sila, they just let the hearing proceed as hindi scripted, spontaneous. Siguro mabigyan natin ng credibility, kahit konting credibility yung Quad Committee. Pero with this, it threw a monkey wrench on their script. Na wala totally. For me ha, kung ako, tanungin nyo, walang credibility yung Quad Committee. Tulad ng sinabi ko, unang-una, saan ba galing yung Quad Committee? Kay Martin Romualdez. Sino bang kapartner ng Martin Romualdez? Si Lisa Marcos. Ito yung mga, sabihin na natin evil. Mamaya, balikan ko yung evil. Kung gaano ka-evil. Yung comment kanina. So, kilala ko to. So, I know na wala tong credibility and the testimony of Colonel Grijaldo simply confirmed what I have already believed a long time ago, right from the start.
And it really shows, no, yung kapag hawak mo yung truth, talagang ano siya, talagang it will really burn kung sino man yung mga nagsisinungaling dito. Kasi ang simple lang naman nung sinabi ang simple lang nung sinabi ni Colonel Grijaldo. Ngayon, umikot yung puwet ni Benny Abante at saka ni Dan Fernandez, and to the extent that they had been telling us a lot of story contradicting kung ano yung mga what ought to be and yung mga inconsistency dun sa mga ginagawa nila. Kasi kagaya nun,
when you contradict a statement, ang telltale sign ko dyan na the contradiction is true is that short and simple. Short and simple. Hindi yung when you weave a very complicated story. Kasi pag nag-weave ka na complicated story, naghahanap ka na ng lusot.
Totoo. And that complicated story is the complicated story of Dan Fernandez about bato na binibisip daw yung anak niya.
May script. Sabi nga niya, may script sila. You see? So, malalaman mo naman talaga kung sino yung sinungaling at sino yung nagsasabi ng totoo. Tulad ng sinabi mo, when you actually hold the truth, wala kang katatakutan eh. Look at me, mga kababayan. I know na totoo yung sinasabi ko. Inamin ni Lisa Marcos na magkakaroon siya ng meeting ng may-ari ng Smartmatic. Alam ko, minanipula nila yung eleksyon ni Marcos Jr. At hindi kasali si Inday Sara doon. You see, wala akong takot na labanan yung the most powerful couple in this country. Si Lisa Marcos at si Bongbong Marcos. And you see, what can they do to me? Wala silang magawa. Because lalaban at lalaban ako kasi alam kong totoo yung sinasabi niya. Anong sinasabi ko? Pinaninindigan ko yung aking affidavit na that's the truth. And look at them. Mahigit 1 taon, walang sagot. The closest na sinagot ni Lisa Marcos hayaan na lang natin siya. Nung tinanong siya ni Katunying Taberna, isasampalin ka raw ni Benchong. Sabi, hayaan na lang natin siya. I hope he wins as congressman or governor or something. O, parang message ni Lisa Marcos sa akin, tumigil ka, papanaluin kita. Di ba? Why would she answer that way? Di ba? Why would she answer that way? Oh, hayaan na lang natin siya. For all the things I said against her, sasampalin kita, drug pusher ka. Oh, for all the things I said, yun yung sasabihin niya. Hayaan na lang natin siya. I hope he wins as governor or congressman or something. Para nga nagpaparinig si Lisa, tumigil ka na dyan, papanalunin kita. Of course, hindi ako papasok ulit sa bitag mo, no? Nabitag mo na ako once. Hindi na ako magpapabitag another time. Mukha na akong tanga niyan.
Attorney Glenn, have you heard it was a report from Net25, merong parang insinuation doon na, well, yun ang kwento nila doon na nakikita daw sa premises si Trillanes and probably has the hand sa mga nangyayari sa Quadcom. What can you say about that? Hindi imposible, no?
Trillanes could only sway. Ganito na ha? Trillanes could only sway the Quad Committee. Kasi you have to look at it, no? Wala na siyang political power ngayon, di ba? He's out of office. Wala siyang political power. Wala siyang political influence or whatever residual political influence he has. Kunti na lang yun. Di ba? Wala namang susunod sa iyo kasi hindi ka na senador. Kung mayroon mang residual political influence na natitira, kunting-kunti na lang, not enough to sway the actions or the directions of the Quad Committee. Maliban na lang kung ginawa siyang bastonero ni Lisa Marcos. O ikaw ang director doon.
Yun,
and everybody knows that siya yung baston ni Lisa Marcos doon. Because alam ko naman si Lisa will not do it on her own. She will use people.
Ang pinaka-value na lang ni Trillanes doon, kasi syempre dahil nasa military siya for a very long time rin naman, kumbaga, and yung mga resource speaker sa mga resource speaker sa Quadcom ay karamihan ay men in uniform. So, valuable yung knowledge niya when it comes to paano makipag-usap or ano yung magiging diskarte dyan, ano yung but not to the extent that he's going to be a pivotal force para
wala akong nakikitang significant contribution ni Trillanes to, honest. Maliban na lang talaga kung siya yung ginawang baston ni Lisa Marcos. Siya yung kung doktor, di ba? May baton niya. O siya yung baton. O siya yung ginawang baton doon ni Lisa Marcos.
Attorney, mahuhod ba legally accountable ang Quad Committee? Kung kunwari, eventually marami pang mag-come forward na mga witnesses, resource speakers na pinwersa or minanipulate yung kanilang mga statements and whatnot. Ano yung mga magiging can the Quadcom be held legally accountable dun sa mga ginawa nila?
Ganito, whatever they come up, of course these are committee hearings, so meron yang committee report, di ba? So meron yang committee report. So pag lumabas yung committee report and for example natatamaan ka o ako, ikaw, ako, natatamaan tayo doon sa report nila. Or in this case, si President Duterte at si Inday Sara, you can question the proceedings in a certiorari proceedings sa Supreme Court. That the proceedings was conducted with grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excessive jurisdiction. Bakit may grave abuse of discretion? Pinipirsa niyo nga yung witness. Kinukunsaban niyo yung witness. Aside from, of course, pwede mong kasuhan yan ng subornation of perjury. Kasi, that's a crime. That's a criminal act. Pwede kasuhan. Well, I'm talking first doon sa committee report as a whole. No? Committee report as a whole. Na natatamaan ako o natatamaan ka, takbo tayo on certiorari sa Supreme Court. Questionin natin yung abuse of discretion ng committee na inaano nyo yung mga testigo. So therefore, kung pinupulyot nyo yung mga testigo, your committee report is polluted and it has injured me or injured you. The other one is you can go directly personally against Congressman Abante and Congressman Fernandez for subornation of perjury. Inaano nyo yung witness pinapapirjure nyo. Kaya nga, ang crime is subornation. Subornation of perjury. Kasi pinapapirjure mo yung witness. Remember, the witness takes oath doon sa hearing. So that is a proceeding, a legal proceeding. Tapos pinapa-perjure mo nga kasi pinapasabi mo ng hindi totoo. O pinapa-corroborate mo yung affidavit ni Guyen Agarma na hindi naman pala totoo. Sabi ni, wala naman siyang alam doon. So that's subornation of perjury. Pwede silang kasuhan directly, personally, itong dalawa. Kasi itong dalawa lang naman ang pinangalanan. But, ang pinaka-importante dyan is that it affected the credibility now of the Quad Committee. For those who do not know, I know. I know personally the workings of these people. So, wala talaga akong katiwa-tiwala dyan sa Tuwan Committee. Tuwan Committee na yan. Tumuwan na sila kay Lisa Marcos. Literally, tumuwan. Nagbow sila doon. Para silang mga minions ni Lisa Marcos. So wala talagang credibility yung Tuwan Committee as far as I'm concerned. But for those ordinary Filipinos na willing to give them a sense of credibility, wala na talagang credibility ngayon because the testimony of Colonel Grijaldo threw a monkey wrench on that credibility. Committees to act extraordinarily like this. Pero alam naman natin na hindi naman yan in the interest of the people, for the selfish interest of the Marcoses yan. So, ang target niyan si Inday Sara at the end of the day. Tanggalin na natin lahat ng pretensions natin. Naku, I don't pretend to be, si Inday Sara ang target dito. Una, nagsimula sila sa Pogo, di ba? Sa Pogo. It's actually a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. Sa Pogo sila nagsimula. Ginorgor nila si Harry Roque. And then, pati asawa ni Harry Roque, dinamay nila. Tapos parang pinapalabas nila the Pogo money funded the AJ case, di ba? Parang yun yung connection doon eh. And then, tapos may yung issue nila laban kay Inday Sara, sali na nila dyan. At the end of the day, this is intended to weaken President Duterte and Inday Sara. Because alam nila na the only viable challenger to the Marcoses remaining in power for a long, long time to come is Inday Sara. They need to nip her in the bud. Kaya nga, there's this talk of impeaching, di ba? Lumalabas na yung impeachment, i-impeach Inday Sara. They have become bolder now. Dati hindi, wala pa yung impeachment na term against Inday Sara. And then they become bolder now na i-impeach, there are grounds to impeach the Vice President. So essentially, ito yung clear and present danger para sa kanila. It's not clear and present danger to the state, to the welfare of the people, but it's a clear and present danger to the continued possession of power of the Marcoses, the drug addict and the drug addict.
Agree. Hindi kasi talaga justified yung yung creation nung super committee na parang you're using all the resources of the government for topics like this. I mean, why do you talk about, let's say, for example, yung EJK? Sabi, to certain extent, I would agree that there would be some lapses in the
That's a
implementation.
legitimate issue, Ate
That's
Joey.
a legitimate
Yes,
issue. That's a legitimate issue.
that's a legitimate issue. That's a legitimate concern. Okay? Inasmuch as meron pang ibang legitimate concern, pressing issue. Ito, mag-imbestiga kayo sa flood control projects na 133 billion. Hindi ko pa nahimay-himayan. I'll talk about that later in another setting. Yung 133 billion na sinasabi ni Amy Marcos na pinapaimbestigan niya, 6 na taon. 133 billion was poured into Bicol region. Pero sa 6 na taon na yan, nagsimula, kinumpute ko, 2019. 2019, 2020, 2021. 2022 kalahati kay President Duterte. So 3.5 years kay President Duterte, 2.5 years kay Marcos. Pero yung flood control projects kay President Duterte, nandun lang sa about hindi umabot ang 20 billion. Hindi umabot yung 20 billion for Bicol na flood control in 3 years and a half. 2 years and a half lang kay Marcos, more than 100 billion was poured there. Now, ang target natin dyan, ang papanagutin na dyan, dapat si Martin Romualdez at si Saldico. That is another legitimate issue, a more pressing issue, and a clear and present danger na dapat natin pag-usapan, imbestigahan na yun. Because after Christine, andyan na naman si Leon.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Attorney Glenn, no? Kasi yung flood control issue, it endangers the life and limbs of the Filipino people.
Right, correct, Ate Joey. Sabi ko, ito yung clear and present danger to the state and the welfare of the people. Kasi,
correct.
Sinananta pa lang tayo ni Christine, andyan na naman si Leon. Magdala na naman na yan ng maraming ulan. Magbaha na naman yung mga lugar natin, mamamatay na naman yung mga mga kababayan natin. That's a clear and present danger, mga kababayan. Pero itong sa Quad Committee ngayon, I don't see any clear and present danger. Kung sabihin natin AJK, that's an issue that's in the past. Wala nang clear and present danger today. Ang clear and present danger today,
yes, para i-overtime ninyo itong mga issue na ito.
Yes.
What's the danger that you are trying to prevent here? The trying to
Ate Joey, ito nga.
Fight against.
Ito nga, Ate Joey, ilagay natin in one palm, sa isang kamay. Andito yung AJK. Tapos na to. On the other hand, the issue of floods and flood control. So, ito yung hinaharap natin ngayon. Bakit wala nag-imbestiga sa House of Romualdez? Sa House of Romualdez. Bakit wala nag-imbestiga sa mga committee dyan ni Tambahudas? At especially si Saldico, silang dalawa. Because under Article 6, Section 24, all appropriation bills, all appropriations, tariff, tax bills must originate from the House of Representatives. Although the Senate may propose or amendments or concur. So, lahat ng appropriations bill, lahat ng pagtatalaga ng pera ng gobyerno, nagbumula sa bahay ni Tambahudas, sa House of Representatives. So kaya ang tinuturo ko dyan ngayon, si Tambahudas at si Saldico. Kasi galing sa inyo ang appropriations eh. So yung 110 billion in 2.5 years, you poured it in Bicol, umulan ng pera para sa inyo, umulan ng baha para sa mga kababayan natin.
Correct.
That's the clear and present danger na dapat ninyong imbestigahan, hindi yung Juan Committee ninyong mga issue na yan. Tapos na yan, pwede natin pagpalipan yan. There is no urgency there. Ang urgency, itong flood control.
And the EJK issue and whatever, like I said, no, I think it's a legitimate issue. It is something that you should look upon if you want to, and then wala namang pumipigil sa kanila na mag-take ng legal remedies. Ay, walang problema yon. Okay yon. Kung merong mga police na nag-step beyond their authority in implementing the war on drugs as ordered by PRRD, walang problema. Let's hold them accountable. Ikulong natin kung talagang hindi sila sumunod sa batas at illegal ang kanilang ginawa. But they make it as if a super issue na make or break para sa mga Pilipino, when in fact, the Filipino, whatever happened during the time of PRRD, approve the policies and governance of the former president already. Kitang-kita naman na po ito doon sa hard data na nagsipaglabasan from different survey firms. Napaka-consistent ng result dito. PRRD during his entire administration enjoyed very, very high trust and approval ratings. Incomparable. Unprecedented. So, ibig sabihin, itong issue na to, hindi itong issue sa mga tao.
Yung unprecedented na trust and performance rating niya, satisfaction rating, trust rating, performance rating ni President Duterte, walang bahid yan ng pagbabayad. Hindi tulad kay Lisa Marcos na nagbabayad talaga ng mga survey. Kilala ko yan. Si Lisa Marcos is an animal of political service. Alam ko yan, kilala ko yan. So, you see, yung kay President Duterte, nung nag-survey sila, walang pakialam yung mama doon. Walang pakialam si President Duterte doon. So, kung ano man ang lumabas doon, that's the truth from the ground. Yun yung totoo talaga. Mataas yung satisfaction rating niya, mataas yung trust rating niya, walang bahid ang bayad yun. Kasi hindi naman nagbabayad yung mama eh. Well, he doesn't care about that. He only cares about what he will do for his country. Narinig natin yan sa hearing ng Senado. On the other hand, si Lisa Marcos is an animal of service, political service. So, natandaan ko, nung una kong takbo, nung tumakbo ako senador, ang una niyang tanong, nagpa-survey ka na ba? Tapos sabi ko, hindi pa. Sabi niya, may taga-survey ako. You see, may taga-survey siya. So, alam ko, pag mataas ang satisfaction rating ni Marcos, sorbiyan ni Lisa Marcos. Tandaan niyo yan, mga kababayan, take it from me.